Okay, so because of the fact that for the 7th year anniversary, we have a 50% discount on all of the non-seasonal uniforms in the game, I had quite a few messages today on Discord asking me to do a tier list ranking some of the best uniforms in the game. So what I decided to do today is actually put together a list of about 50 uniforms that you should consider picking up for the anniversary, since they're 50% off. Now, I will be excluding all of these seasonal uniforms because you cannot buy these uniforms right now. So people like Black Cat, White Fox, Holiday Gwenpool, Holiday Deadpool, etc., they will be excluded because they are seasonal uniforms. Just as a point of reference, I have every single uniform in the game, and I only have one of them that's not at Mythic, which means I've been playing with all of these uniforms for quite some time, so I have a good understanding of where they currently rank in the game and which ones are useless and which ones are useful. So for any of you guys who are gonna come for me in the comments, just know, like, I kind of know what I'm talking about because I've played the game for quite some time and I literally have all of these uniforms. The only one that's left to get to Mythic is Kid Kaiju, and the only reason why it's not at Mythic is because of the fact that I'm just going to use the tier 2 selector that they're giving away to pick him up at tier 2, and since I already have the character, the game is going to give me biometrics, and then I'll just use the biometrics to get his uniform to Mythic, and that saves me $15. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So what you're looking at before you is going to be the structure for today's tier list. We're going to be breaking this list of 50 characters into 6 different categories, and I'm going to be ranking them based on their performance and overall usefulness. Starting from the top, we have two-way gods, characters that are very valuable for both PvE and PvP. And the second category, we have PvE gods, characters that are primarily used for World Boss Legend, since that is the hardest piece of PvE content currently in the game. And to qualify for this category, you need to be strong enough to push past stage 40 minimum. Yes, I'm raising the stakes because damage falls off as we get newer content. So because of that, if you're buying a uniform right now, you want to make sure that the character is incredibly powerful so that a year from now, that power is still somewhat relevant. Moving on, we have PvP gods, characters that are often used in Vibranium League and Challenger for timeline battle. We're not talking about Alliance Conquest because depending on where you play, whether it's top 100 or in the bottom leagues, you can get away with some goofy teams and some goofy characters. We have godly supports that are very valuable for World Boss Legend, ABX, Squad Battle, PvP, etc. Next, we have fallen gods, characters that used to be considered some of the best in the game. However, as the game changes, because Marvel Future Fight is a living, breathing entity, and with every update we get new and more powerful characters, so something's gotta give, and eventually some characters will fall off, whether it's due to type advantage or because we get harder content and their damage just isn't keeping up to today's standard. Moving on, we have currently meta, characters that are not necessarily strong enough to do stage 40 World Boss Legend, but they're worth considering because they're currently sitting at the top of a particular piece of content, whether it's ABX or Squad Battle. That being said, let's jump right into it. So currently meta, we're gonna start off by putting Rogue here, Rogue and Ghost Rider, two characters that are not necessarily the strongest for World Boss Legend or even ABX for that matter, but they're currently meta because they're among the best characters for Squad Battle, and if you are competing and trying to get top 3 every week, you will need to have these uniforms for these characters, or it's pretty much game over for you. You're not going to get top 3 and you're going to miss out on Mandalay gem fragments every single week, and over the course of a couple months, that's gonna cost you real money or set you back if you're trying to keep up with the newest awakened character that gets released. Next up we have Gamora, and Gamora is currently the best speed supervillain for Extreme Alliance battle, but this spot is fleeting because as soon as Green Goblin gets to tier 3, she's probably going to get eclipsed, so keep that in mind. Next up we have Electro, and he's in a similar position to Gamora, which is why he's right beside her. So his spot in squad battle is at risk of falling as soon as Green Goblin gets a tier 3 or an awakened skill. Fallen gods, we're gonna put people like Human Torch, we're gonna put people like Gambit, we're gonna put people like Gilgamesh, because once upon a time they were among the best at what they do, whether it's World Boss Legend or in the case of Gilgamesh, PvP. However, look at timeline battle right now. Unless you're in the wood leagues, nobody's using Gilgamesh. Why is that? The reason for that is because characters like Adam Warlock and Emma Frost exist. They're incredibly powerful blast characters, and as such they have a type advantage over Gilgamesh, so they can kill him very quickly. Additionally, a character named Hela currently exists that gives these blast characters even more damage to superheroes. So Gilgamesh has to go in the Fallen God category. Now alongside Gilgamesh, we're gonna put Corvus Glaive and War Machine. We could give War Machine a little bit more credit because he has a good leadership and a support passive for machine type, so we could put him in godly support, but realistically there isn't really that many machine characters that are really powerful. So for now, maybe it's best if we put him here, even though he gives machine types 40% more attack, defense, and HP. I think we're doing him a disservice by putting him in the Fallen Gods category. I think he's a pretty good support, and the same goes for Hulkbuster, especially if you're an Iron Man fan. Speaking of Iron Man, I completely forgot to put him in this list. I actually had to go get his icon so he can go right here behind these guys. If you want to see like how it's really structured in terms of damage, I guess we'll put him at the front there, then put yeah, these two in front of these two. That's how it would be structured. Okay, next, in the godly support category, we have to put Valkyrie. But here's the thing, guys. You don't want to buy a new uniform for Valkyrie, even though she's a godly support. I'm only putting her in this list so I can say this. Thor Love and Thunder is coming out July 8th. Valkyrie is guaranteed to get a new uniform. Now, we don't know if she's going to remain as a support type, but we've never seen them change a character from a support type to anything else. So, worst case scenario, they change her and make her an amazing DPS, and then she loses her support passive, but we've never seen that happen before. So, you could buy this uniform for her now, and in like 2 months, have to buy a new uniform for the same character. That's not a good buy. Usually you want to buy a uniform that's going to last at least 365 days. And that's whale advice. So if you're free to play, shit, you might want to get 700 days worth of usage out of a uniform. That being said, let's get back to business. So, godly supports, we gotta put Cyclops here because with this uniform, he transforms into a supervillain like a Transformer, a Decepticon if you will. Anyways, moving on. The lead and the support is very useful. I wouldn't say he's a better support than Val, but because of the fact that Val is gonna get a new uniform, you do not want to buy this. Okay, moving on. Taskmaster, amazing support. I'm gonna put him right there. Actually, I should put her like right behind these guys just so you're aware. Just don't buy her. Anyways, definitely a godly support. So we're gonna put her right here because she has the leadership and the support passive. Probably better than Cyclops, to be honest. Fine, it's whatever. Either way, works for me. Next up, we got Colossus, another godly support. Pretty much mandatory on some weeks for timeline battle. Now for currently meta, I forgot to put Crescent. She has to go here because most people in top alliances are using her for female combat superhero day. I personally use Valkyrie. Some people are using Sif. So there's a split between the three, but she does the most damage if you have the patience to play repeatedly, because her accumulation is based on damage taken and the Frost Beast doesn't really do too much damage, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to get really good burst damage out of Crescent. Next up is America Chavez. I kind of have no choice but to put her in this category with the godly supports because her leadership benefits everyone, plus 40% more HP to all allies, and you take less damage from Reflect. She's kind of like a female version of something like Colossus. Sure, she doesn't give damage reduction, but 40% extra HP is kind of nice. Not gonna lie. And unlike with War Machine and Hulkbuster, it applies to everyone, not just machine types. Now in the Fallen Gods category, you have no choice but to put Luke Cage, and I'm putting him here just so you guys are aware. Luke Cage has fallen out of Timeline Battle just like Gilgamesh. These two fell out because these two came in, okay? These two changed the game for these two. In the godly support category, we have no choice but to put Proxima. She probably should go at the very beginning here. Now, Proxima by herself can do stage 40 in World Boss Legends, so I could justify putting her here, so I might just do that. Next up is Wave, another godly support. Now we're gonna put Loki just ahead of Proxima here in the PvE gods category because he's amazing for World Boss, but what he does really well is ABX and Dispatch. It's kind of a mandatory uniform at this point. You absolutely gotta have it, okay? Next up, we are going to grab Psylocke and put her in the PvE gods category. You don't see her on very many tier lists, but she is really good. She can do stage 50 against Null, and she can do like stage 49 against Mephisto. Next up, we gotta put Thena in here in the PvE gods category because she's amazing for World Boss Legend and Extreme Alliance Battle. We gotta put Scarlet Witch right in front of her though, because Scarlet Witch is gonna be knocking her out of Extreme Alliance Battle, and in addition to that, Scarlet Witch can do something that she can't, and that is cap, meaning get 12 million in squad battle. Very few characters can do that. Speaking of characters that can do that, we have no choice but to put Luna Snow right about here because she's one of the few characters that can actually cap in squad battle. That 12 million with that brilliant judgment, it counts for a whole lot. PvE gods, this tier list would not be complete without the one and only Supergiant. You could put her at 1, you could put her at 2, but she absolutely gotta be there. It's a must-have uniform. Now, the first two-way god of this video is definitely Spider-Man. Stage 40 plus, he can do it. PvP, well, have you been looking at Timeline Battle lately? He's all over Timeline when he's not banned. So two-way god, he gets it done. Just beside him, two-way god, Dr. Doom. And the reason why Dr. Doom is ahead of him is because Spider-Man can't do squad battle. Doom can. Doom, without really having that much support, can actually score like 9.5, 9.6 million. I've seen it myself, and I average about 9.2 million with it. So Spider-Man can't do squad battle. Doom can, and Doom can do PvP. Spider-Man can. Doom can do up into the 60s in World Boss Legend. I ain't never seen Spider-Man do it, but he probably could in his black suit. Another two-way god is Shang-Chi. Maybe we could put him down into the PvE category, but I'm thinking he deserves to stay here as a two-way god because 40 plus World Boss Legend, he can do it against Null, and he still has PvP value because he can reflect and one-shot a lot of characters. Now, this one is gonna upset a lot of people, but I'm gonna be putting Adam Warlock in PvP gods simply because although he can do PvE, I've never seen anyone do stage 40 plus with Adam Warlock, and I've personally never done it. But I do think if you give him a brilliant CTP of destruction or energy, he might be able to do stage 49 against Mephisto. Hit me in the comments, but for now, because of the requirements and because I've never done it and I've never seen anyone do it, I can't put him any higher than this. If you guys have though, let me know. But what I will say is he's one of the best PvP characters in the game. These three at the top of the game, he can kill them. So if you're looking for a good counter, he's your guy. However, when faced with Spider-Man, it's 60-40 that Adam Warlock is going to lose if he doesn't like one-shot Spider-Man. Moving on, we have Emma Frost, and Emma Frost has to go in the two-way god category because she can do 50 plus in World Boss Legend, and she can do Timeline Battle in Vibranium and Challenger League. She's one of the best in the game. You gotta do it. Thanos. Two-way god ahead of Shang-Chi, but behind Emma Frost. This man can do stage 40 against Mephisto and 39 against Null. Plus, if you look at timeline battle, he's all over that thing. So two-way god status attained. Moving on, we have this guy right here, Falcon. I'm gonna put him, you know what? I'm putting behind Betsy because I've never seen Falcon go more than stage 49, and I've seen her do 50. All right, she can cap. He can't cap in any game mode that I know of. Moving on, we have a godly support. You know, gotta put her right about here. Maybe right about here because the leadership and the support together. I think that's a good place for her to be, right? Cool. She's also a pretty decent PvP character too. So out of all the characters in this category, I'm not gonna sleep on her because her PvE value is kind of sick, and she does have PvP value as well. So I'll move her up a little bit. Next, we got Logan. Now, Logan, I wouldn't say he's a PvP god, but he's definitely currently meta, right? So we're gonna put him right here in currently meta because for Combat Superhero Day, he is the best character. And if you give him his artifact, he can be a PvP staple for you. So he could go here, but he's more fitting for here. To be honest, I should move this category down because I think I'm shitting on, you know, the currently meta category by having the fallen gods sit above them. It just doesn't make sense. Let's go ahead and put this as like pink, you know, the most manly of colors. And yeah, let's have it like that. I don't like how these two colors are so close to each other, so let's change this color as well. All right, cool. To be honest, now that these two are beside each other, they kind of look, you know, a little sus. We're gonna go white. All right, cool. Now I like it. Color coded. Grade school. We going back there. Anyways, godly support. We gotta put my man Ebony Maw right here. Leadership and support via his uniform bonus. You love to see it. Two-way god. We kind of have to put Hela here. Some of you guys shit on her saying she's not that great in PvP. I don't know what you guys are talking about. As a standalone PvP character, she's great with her artifact, but she's an amazing support leader, and she can do stage 40 against Mephisto and 39 against Null. So two-way god status attained, unless you guys want to raise the bar to stage 50 plus. And if that's the case, a lot of characters don't qualify. I think stage 40 plus in World Boss Legend is a good barometer for god status. Moving on, we got Wong. Amazing support, but hey, he kind of right here, baby. He kind of right here. I'm gonna have to test him out a little bit more, but he's definitely in the god category, even though he's a support. He's more than that. Now, Infinity Ultron, a lot of y'all shit on him, but he's definitely right there with these guys, neck and neck. 39 Null, 40 Mephisto. So god status. If you like him, you love him, you hate him, you gotta respect him, and that's what time it is. Cull Obsidian, also gotta go right here in the god category. Okay, I might put him a little ahead of Ultron just cuz I like playing him more than Ultron, but he's right there with these guys. Moving on, we got Dr. Octavius. Now, Dr. Octavius is a slightly weaker version of Cull Obsidian, so I'm gonna put him right here. I think he's just on the cusp of qualifying for the PvE gods category, and this uniform is even more valuable if you are free to play because it's cheaper than Kingpin, and he's gonna be able to do ABX and World Boss Legend for you versus Kingpin with his seasonal pimp suit. He's not gonna do much outside of Extreme Alliance battle. Moving on, we got one of the best support characters in the game. I know we're all over the place, but I'm trying to keep your attention so you ain't skipping through the video. Anyways, I'm just joking, but I'm just going off how I feel. One of the best support characters in the game, top tier DPS, but he doesn't have a tier 3, so he doesn't qualify for PvE God based on the requirements for the tier list. Okay, so we gotta put him right about here. Maybe he's the best in this category, but we'll go like this. Since his thing only applies to villains, her thing only applies to heroes, these apply to, you know, this applies to every energy character, this applies to pretty much every character, and then her leadership applies to only. It's fine. It's niche. It gets nicher and nicher and nicher the more you move down, but it's fine. I'm gonna leave it like that. PvE God status, gotta put Kate Bishop right there. 40 plus against Null, ABX squad battle, you name it, that girl got it. Speaking of that, we gotta put McCarley right there. ABX squad battle, world boss legend, the highest levels, you know who got it. Moving on, you gotta go down here because no seasonals allowed. Moving on, we got Sharon Rogers. I'm gonna put Sharon Rogers right about here. And the reason why I'm putting her here is because although she's extremely powerful for high levels in World Boss Legend, the higher you climb, the easier it is for her to die. So she requires a little bit more skill and a little bit more finesse than Supergiant and Makari. Now, Loki's easy to die as well, but Loki makes up for that by being amazing for Dispatch and ABX, two pieces of content that Sharon Rogers is not amazing for. So what she does very well, which is World Boss Legend. She can do it like the best of them, but she can die very, very quickly. So because of that, I take some points away. To be honest, I probably should move her like there, to be honest with you, if I'm being like real honest. I know some of y'all Sharon Rogers fan gonna give me a hard time about that, but she's still in the gods category, okay? Very few characters are above her. Some of you guys gonna be like, Shang-Chi shouldn't be above her. He can do PvP. She can't. We gonna have to put Mr. Fantastic the Maker right there because he is a PvE god. Very hard to play, but very, very powerful. Moving on, we have to put Hawkeye about here. I think right about here is good for Hawkeye. Maybe move Proxima. No, Proxima's value stems from her leadership, her damage, and her uniform bonus. So we kind of have to keep her right about there. Hawkeye though, definitely better than all of these guys behind him. Kate Bishop should be about here. I still need to fully evaluate her versus Wong. But because Wong has that support passive, should I put him further ahead of these guys? Since he can buff Doctor Strange. Speaking of Doctor Strange, PvE God status attained. We're going to put him right here for now, just behind Sharon Rogers and ahead of Proxima Midnight. Fallen Gods. We have no choice but to put Moon Knight right about here. He's definitely fallen. And I think Corvus Glaive should go like right here behind Gambit. And I think Iron Man should be ahead of Human Torch. So that's what it flushes out like. Captain America, definitely one of the best combat characters in the game. I think him and Cull Obsidian are neck and neck. Okay, so I had to refresh my page because a couple of my icons didn't load in. But next up is Cable. And I'm tempted to put Cable in the Fallen Gods category. But realistically, he hasn't really fallen. It's just that not too many people are using him currently, but he's still powerful enough to get to stage 50 against Null and do 49 against Mephisto. Granted, it is a pain in the butt to keep this guy alive once you get to 45. Next up is She-Hulk. Definitely a godly support character because without her, it's pretty much impossible to hit the cap in Extreme Alliance battle as a free-to-play because you're not going to have access to Black Cat's leadership. She-Hulk is the next best thing. I'm going to put Odin in here because I know some of you guys are going to ask me about Odin. He's fallen off. He goes in the Fallen Gods category. Okay, Jean Grey also goes in the Fallen Gods category for those of you guys who are wondering. White Fox. If you're free to play, this is your only option when it comes to a White Fox uniform, so you absolutely have to buy it. The other one is paywalled. It is incredibly powerful, significantly better than this one, but as a free to play, it's your only choice. Moving on, we have Silver Surfer. I'm going to put him in the PvP Gods category. I think he barely qualifies for that. Otherwise, he would be relegated to Fallen Gods alongside Jean Grey. But I think I see him way more than I see these four characters in pretty much anything, right? So I'm going to put him right here. I still wouldn't recommend you buying him over like Adam Warlock, Emma Frost, Hela, Thanos, Shang-Chi, any of these. But he is still valuable because of his reflect, his counterattack, and his revive. Last and definitely not least, I have to put Cersei in the two-way god category, right behind Hela, because of the fact that with her artifact, she is amazing for PvP, whether it's timeline battle or alliance conquest, because she can revive and instantly use her awaken skill to one-shot enemies. And then in addition to that, she's very powerful with a mighty CTP of destruction for World Boss Legend. She can push as far as 45 against Mephisto, so definitely qualifies for the two-way god category. So that's gonna be it for the list. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comments. Is there anyone I missed that I should have put on this list? Is there anyone that I put too low? Maybe Wolverine can justify PvP god. You know, if we're gonna put Silver Surfer there, I think we can put him as a PvP god with his artifact.